topic is an Ivy League education worth it? So first off, what's an Ivy League? So there's 8 schools in the Ivy League conference. It's actually an athletic conference, but all 8 of them are private schools, and they're all known for their academic superiority and their high selectivity in the admissions process. Like only about 5% of applicants are admitted to these schools. As you can see, they're at the University of Pennsylvania, Yale, Cornell, Columbia, Harvard, Brown, Dartmouth, and Princeton. And sometimes people don't really understand which schools are Ivy Leagues and which ones aren't. Those are the only 8 Ivy Leagues. A lot of people think that like high elite colleges like Stanford and MIT are Ivy Leagues, but they are not. So a pro in having an Ivy League degree is that you get an edge in your career. You kind of stand out among your colleagues and other candidates going for the same career. And according to Crimson Education, you can kind of get a head start in really competitive fields, just finance, law, and business. And all 3 of those fields pay really well as well, and you can advance really high. And then having an edge in your career and starting as soon as you graduate from an Ivy League, you can get promotions earlier, you can get a larger salary, and then you get trustworthiness among colleagues, and that will all help you in the long run. Another is that they make more money. According to the U.S. Department of Education, Ivy League graduates 10 years after starting school make way more than those who didn't attend an Ivy League. On average, it's more like $20,000 and $210,000 per year for Ivy League graduates, whereas for those who didn't, it's more like $10,000 and $80,000 per year. And then also, it's a lot easier to get to the top of your career, like I said, just because you have that Ivy League degree, you get those promotions, you have the larger salary, you have that trustworthiness, it'll make it a lot easier to get to the top. And some examples of that is that like 34 of 100 CNN's top CEOs have Ivy League degrees. More than half of the Supreme Court justices ever had an Ivy League degree, and currently all 9 have a degree just from Yale and Harvard. A con is that they are really expensive. As you can see, the tuition per year for each of these schools is around $50,000 a year. And so if you go to an Ivy League school just for your undergrad, you'll be expected to pay like $200,000, and that can get you into a lot of student debt. So expensive. But then compare it to local colleges, it's a lot cheaper. Like even with Westminster, it's a private school, so it's a lot more, but it's still $20,000 less than the private schools in the Ivy League conference. And your average is only about $11,000 a year if you stay in-state here. And that just means less student debt. And student debt is a huge problem for people, and especially if you go to an Ivy League, because you'll be incurring a lot more student debt than those who went to a local college. It'll save you a lot of money going to a local college, and the student debt can kind of set you back depending on where you are in your life. It'll kind of stop you from buying a house or starting your own business or traveling just because you don't really have the money yet. And although Ivy League people do tend to make more money, that student debt kind of follows them for years and years. And then also, companies really highly value a liberal arts education, and at Ivy Leagues you don't really get that because they're so focused on undergrad and especially graduate degrees. 93% of companies cite critical thinking, communication, and problem-solving skills as really important, and you kind of get those skills with a liberal arts education. You can kind of get one in more local colleges, or especially in an honors program at a local college, because then you can kind of get a good education like they have at Ivy Leagues while also getting the liberal arts part. I believe that students can still be successful without actually going to an Ivy League school. You can attend a local college without incurring massive amounts of debt and still have a pretty good education and get a pretty good jump start in life. And then some resolutions is that like a private college on the Ivy Leagues should probably cost less than it does now. Like especially with Westminster, that's also a private school, but it's a lot less than Ivy Leagues, and so that just means less student debt. Or if you attend an honors program at a local college, you're getting a good education like you would in an Ivy League, but also paying way less money for that. Or you could do what this guy did. This is Josh Lafazan, and he did a TED Talk talking about community college and the benefits of going there. But he went to a community college for his associate's degree and then transferred to Cornell for the rest of his degree and saved like $100,000. But that's kind of an unrealistic option for most of us because he has really, really high credentials, and if you go to a community college and try to transfer an Ivy League, it probably won't work out. And this is my works cited. And then we're